day, fellow teachers. DepEd Memorandum-PHROD-2021-0010 entitled Guidelines on the Implementation of the Results-Based Performance Management System for School Year 2020 to 2021 is issued on January 11, 2021 to provide a comprehensive guidelines to all DepEd schools in the implementation of the school year 2020 to 2021 RPMS in the time of COVID-19. Here is the RPMS cycle. First is we have this performance planning and commitment. The second phase is the performance monitoring and coaching. The third phase is the performance review and evaluation. And the last is the performance rewarding and development planning. Here is the full details in each phase of the RPMS cycle for school year 2020 to 2021. Phases of RPMS cycle: the task or the activity, the person or persons responsible, and the schedule of each phases. For the phase 1, we have the performance planning and commitment. Phase 2, performance monitoring and coaching. Phase 3, performance review and evaluation. And phase 4, performance rewarding and development planning. It also stated the schedule in each phases. In this video, I will present to you the priority indicators and the means of verification for you to be aware on how you will be rated using the prescribed RPMS tool for Teacher 1 to 3 proficient teachers. The PPST priority indicators and the means of verification. There are 11 priority indicators from the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers or PPST chosen as RPMS objectives for this school year. These priority indicators were selected based on being more responsive and appropriate to the current context of the teachers, learners, and the learning environment. RPMS objectives. Number 1 is the classroom observable objectives, and number 2 is the non-classroom observable objectives. Now, what are these classroom observable objectives? So there are actually 7 classroom observable objectives for both proficient and highly proficient teachers. The performance indicators of these objectives are identified for quality, except for Objective 6, which has quality and timeless. So objectives 1, 5, and 7 require means of verification from classroom observation. And take note, only 2 observations are required for the entire school year. Guidelines and protocols for alternative classroom observations are defined in this document. Classroom observable objectives, also the objectives 2, 3, and 4 require supplementary materials as MOV, while objective 6 require evidence that show feedback to learners. Only 2 MOV that show evidence of each objective are required for the entire school year. In non-classroom observable objectives, there are only 4 classroom observable objectives for both proficient and highly proficient teachers. The performance indicators are identified for quality in Objective 8 and quality and efficiency in objectives 9 to 11. Plus factor is objective 12. Here in the table 2, the MOV per indicator for the proficient teacher for RPMS. The objective 1 is applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching areas. Now, for the means of verification for the MOV for objective 1 is only the classroom observation tool or COT rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form. For the objective 2, 3, and 4, which is ensure the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching and learning process, applied a range of teaching strategies to develop critical and creative thinking, as well as other higher order thinking skills, and for the objective 4, establish a learner-centered culture by using teaching strategies that respond to their linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious backgrounds. For the MOV of the objectives 2, 3, and 4 is any supplementary materials in print or digital format made by the ratee and used in the lesson delivery, whereas these follow: activity sheets, one lesson from a local crafted self-learning module, all SLM, lesson plan, video lesson, audio lesson, and other learning materials. Objective 5, planned and delivered teaching strategies that are responsive to the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances, including geographic isolation, chronic illness, displacement due to armed conflict, urban resettlement, or disasters, child abuse, and child labor practices. The MOV of this objective is only the COT rating sheet inter-observer agreement form. For objective number 6, use strategies for providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to improve learner performance. The MOV is the evidence that highlights providing accurate and constructive feedback to improve learner performance, and that shows timeliness of feedback given to any of the following. We have activity sheet, performance task, portfolio, quiz or test, or self-learning module. In the objective 7, selected, develop, organize, and use appropriate teaching and learning resources, including ICT, to address learning goals. The MOB is the COT rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form. Objective 8, set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with learning competencies. For the MOV, one lesson plan or one lesson from a self-learning module prepared by the ratee with achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with the learning competencies as shown in any of the following: lecture or discussion, activity or activity sheet, performance task, or the rubric for assessing performance using criteria that appropriately describe the target output. 9 objective, build relationships with parents, guardians, and the wider school community to facilitate involvement in the educative process. So for the MOV, these are proof of participation in any of the activities for improved access to education, such as but not limited to the following activities.